Let me paint this picture for you. Imagine you have a nurse. A nurse's job, they symbolize everything that's supposed to be good in this world today, right? Along with our doctors. Their job is to cater to your medical needs, to ensure that when you come in injured or when you come in sick, they represent that angel in a sense that's there to comfort you, to help you heal. And even in cases where they can't, they provide a level of comfort. They take what they call the Nightingale Oath, right? It's similar to the Hippocratic Oath that doctors take. Imagine you have a nurse who is in charge of caring for infants, children, babies, those in the NICU, right? We're talking about children who are premature, children who are born with maybe problems that they need special attention for. But yet you have a satanic psychopath in hiding, working as a nurse in the NICU, overseeing your children. You guys, when I heard about this case, if you're not familiar with this abomination of an individual, you have to be a psychopath, an absolute psychopath. This individual, Erin Elizabeth Ann Strotman, you guys, oh my God. It's like, I've investigated so many cases and I've seen so many cases of child abuse. I've never seen it from the people who are responsible for taking care of children. I haven't. In all of my years of investigating and policing, I've never seen it. This is who we're talking about. Erin Elizabeth Strotman. Psychopath. And they say that people who harm animals, it's a very strong indication of them going down a psychopathic journey. This woman was breaking the bones of infants in the NICU. We're talking about possibly over a dozen. We know for a fact 7 are confirmed. And now the hospital is digging up 3 prior cases that were unconfirmed. Now they have to reinvestigate. And she's recently been arrested. Now there's a lot of controversy behind this woman. And we're going to talk about it because there's a lot of things going on. And I want to explain to you a couple things we're going to talk about. One, you have sick people in all professions. People who aren't wrapped too tight. Okay? We know this to be true. But this is next level. Right? This is next level. We got to talk about the racial element. Okay? Because when I learned about this a few days ago, there was really no information out. It was just the fact that she was arrested. Today, I see on TikTok that she was breaking the bones of black babies. Black babies. Now, hold on. There's more to the story, you guys. Let's dive into some of these clips. Let's get a full breakdown of what's going on, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts. What made me do this video? On TikTok, online, I'm seeing news articles. White NICU nurse attacking black babies. I see content creators now catching on. And guess what they're reporting? They're reporting this incident here. And they're saying, look at this white supremacist system. Look at this white supremacist woman who is attacking and assaulting black children. I said, man, I got to look into this. This is crazy. When I heard it, it was just a woman abusing babies. So I said, I got to dive into this. I got to report this. I got to talk about this. This is madness. Let me show you what I found.
Henrico Doctors Hospital is behind bars after being denied bond in a Henrico court. 26-year-old Erin Elizabeth Ann Strotman was arraigned today in connection to that ongoing investigation into the hospital's neonatal intensive care unit. And our 8 News reporter Victoria Lucas is taking action, getting new information in this case today from the courthouse.
She joins us this evening in Henrico with the latest.
The judge presiding in this case denied reporters access into the courtroom, but Henrico County Commonwealth's attorney Shannon Taylor did confirm Erin Strotman was denied bond. Strotman faces 1 count of felony child neglect and 1 count of felony malicious wounding for an injury to an infant on or about November 10th of 2024.
We will leave no stone unturned.
Henrico County's top prosecutor letting reporters know her office will continue to work very aggressively into the investigation into Henrico Doctors Hospital's neonatal intensive care unit. In less than 2 weeks, 1 woman has been charged and arrested, 26-year-old Erin Elizabeth Ann Strotman of Chesterfield County, who was denied bond by a judge Friday afternoon.
While there has been an arrest for 1 person for allegedly inflicting injury on a single victim, I would emphasize this is an ongoing investigation spanning potential offenses committed in both 2023 and 2024.
The ongoing investigation centered around 7 babies in total. The hospital alerting the community online that 4 babies had, quote, unexplainable fractures in 2024, similar to an incident in 2023. Strotman now facing charges for 1 child out of the 7.
We will continue to work on building cases if there is evidence present to build other cases to find if there's additional criminal culpability.
It makes me sick. It truly makes me sick.
Dominique Hackey is one of the 3 families who showed up to court for 3 children involved in the entire investigation. Taylor confirmed Strotman is currently being charged in connection to a child whose family was not in court. Still, Hackey says he had to show up.
Justice for my son. Justice for the other families that were affected, the other people's boys that were affected. Somebody needs to be held accountable, and it looks like that day is here.
8 News.
Okay. Hackey, that gentleman, he's the father of one of the babies, but they are still investigating. So let's talk about this. This case is ongoing, you guys, all right? And so far she's only being charged with 1 count, one victim, 1 baby she's being charged with. An incident that happened in 2024. They are still investigating to see if there is culpability behind the other injuries, which I'm pretty sure, right? So I received some insider information regarding this case, and basically stating that the way they were able to catch her was they set up cameras inside this area where the NICU is, and they actually have her on camera assaulting this particular child that they charged her with, okay? With that being said, they're gonna have to try and investigate these previous 7 and see if they have camera that far back to see if they can actually identify her as being the suspect. One thing that they do know is that she was working the day of these injuries and that this is the area that she was also in charge of. Here's the other problem. There are potentially 3 other victims that occurred in 2023 that they're going to try and start reopening that case again to reinvestigate. Here's the problem. The problem is they suspected her of doing some foul things before, and allegedly she was suspended behind it, and then she was allowed to come back to work. That's kind of the narrative that's being pushed out through the media. I don't know how accurate that is, or why she was being suspended, if it was because of they believed that she was harming these kids or what, or maybe they did suspect but they couldn't prove it, right? So a lot of people are talking about that. I've heard that being brought up on a lot of people's page. And so folks not really understanding that, listen, if you're going to allege something, you still have to prove it, right? And so though she may have been suspended if they weren't able to substantiate any of those claims, obviously they got to let her go back to work. But the question is, what did they do to try to mitigate these issues? Did the hospital, add cameras? Did the hospital, maybe do some additional training? Like, what did they do to try to make sure these things didn't happen? Because obviously it didn't work, right? So that leads me to this next piece, all right? One of the key things of this is everyone is bringing up race and saying, hey, she's a white woman, and they see one of the fathers, and the father is black. And so I'm trying to figure out, where did everybody get this idea that all the babies that were being assaulted are black babies? Because that's what I saw online, so I wanted to find out what the level of accuracy was. So there's two issues surrounding this case right now. One, we have a woman who's arrested. She's only arrested for one victim. They currently have to investigate to see whether or not they could tie her to the other 6 victims and the additional 3. We're looking at approximately 10, possibly 11 kids. We don't know how far back this goes, but as far as we know right now, we're looking at 7 infants, possibly 3 additional infants. That's where we are right now. The question is, a lot of people know, what's the motive? Why'd she do it? They're saying it's because she's racist and that this was a deliberate attack against black babies. You guys, and now, me as an investigator, I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. I need to talk about it. This is a hate crime. So I'm going into this investigating this as a hate crime. I'm seeing so many videos. Oh, she's a racist. She's a this. She's part of the KKK. And they're destroying us and killing us from the inside of these. I said, let me look into it. So I'm looking at this article. And this article is from Yahoo News. Yahoo took an article that was already written and created by Revolt, posted by Revolt. They just regurgitated exactly what Revolt said, and they posted under Yahoo News. Okay, let's take a look at this. Okay, this is from Revolt, and it's being posted under Yahoo. Matter of fact, let me minimize myself. White NICU nurse faces charges for allegedly breaking the bones of black infants. You guys, this was posted Monday, January 6th by John Powell. Why is this important? I want to explain to you how dangerous the media is. All right, how dangerous the media is, especially those who only read headlines, okay? What does it say? On Sunday, January 5th, the Washington Post reported that registered nurse Erin Elizabeth Ann Strotman was arrested in connection with the abuse of several black babies at a Virginia medical center beginning in 2023. I'm going to stop it there. All right? Because here's the first problem that we have. One, this is a serious medical violation, right? And what we call this is HIPAA. For those who know HIPAA. HIPAA Act, you cannot release any personal information about patients. You just can't do it. I'm curious to know, where did they get this information from that all of the infants were black? The title reads that a nurse, a white nurse, and I want you to see the actual headline, how dangerous this headline is. They wanted to specify that the nurse was white. And they wanted to specify that the infants were black. Immediately, the first thing that you're going to come up with is that this was racially motivated. Who wouldn't? You guys, that's obvious. 1 + 1. White plus black victim equals racism. I go to another headline because now, you guys, I'm doing research. Because now I'm passionate now. I'm angry. When this first released, I was angry. And now this looks like a hate crime. And I'm hearing everybody talk about the evilness of this white nurse, which it is sadistic, satanic in nature, psychopathic. I agree 100%. And this is where things get more interesting. And again, this is someone who's doing the research. I go up to this next article and I find this one very alarming. Okay, this is the father of one of the victims. Father of injured newborn speaks out as Virginia nurse faces charges. All right. This is the same brother we saw in the video. Okay, he's speaking out. Let me minimize myself real quick so we can kind of get a full screen. Here's the brief, okay? We know she's been charged. The hospital has since enhanced security, including 24-hour surveillance and stricter staff access rules, okay? What do we know? The father of a Virginia toddler who suffered mysterious bone fracture, newborn Richmond Hospital, neonatal intensive care unit, he says that all of these babies shared one common trait, okay? They were all boys. So now I thought this was very interesting, okay? I thought this was extremely interesting. He says, listen, they all shared one common trait. They were all boys. That means the psychopath decided that she was going to harm only the male infants, not the female infants. But then not only that, what he also said was, because they asked him about the race, saying, hey, listen, we heard that there are all black infants that were being harmed. He said, hold on, that's not accurate. What did he say, you guys? This is what he told the media when they asked him. He said they suffered different injuries, came from diverse families, and had nothing else in common that the parents could identify. According to Dominique Hackey. Dominique Hackey is the man that we saw on the previous news clip, whose young son Noah suffered an unexplained fractured tibia in September 2023. He said they were all different injuries, and two boys had multiple injuries, he told Fox. So far, chatting amongst ourselves, we can't find a pattern of why our babies, other than the fact that they were boys. What does that mean, you guys? They asked him specifically, while reports circulated on social media that Strotman allegedly targeted children by race, Hackey knocked down those claims, telling Fox Digital only 2 of the victims were black, he said. And he has been in touch with all the other victims' family except for one. Now I want that to sit in, you guys. I need that to sit in your psyche for a second. Hackey said that he's met all the family except for one. We know that there's 7 victims, 3 possible additional victims. He said the only thing we have in common is that all of the victims, the infants, are boys. Diverse group. And only 2 of them are black. Only 2. But then you're like, well, hold on. Where's social media getting this idea that she's been violating black babies? It's not true. Or it's grossly inaccurate. But this is the dangers, you guys, of media. And this isn't to take away from her sadistic act. That's not what this is about. This is part 2 of the conversation about how easily people are manipulated as soon as you throw racism. Everything is not racist. And just because a white person is involved and a black person is involved doesn't make the situation race related. This is a sick individual who, for whatever reason, found it in her heart to harm children. She didn't discriminate. Well, technically she did. What is this act, you guys? This is going to be looked at as a form of misandry, right? The hatred of men, or the hatred of boys. This is misandry. That's what this is. This is a prejudice against boys. The attack was against boys, not black boys, boys. The dangers of these media outlets, these pro-black outlets like a Revolt, who only see everything through the lens of racism. And it just echoes the fragility of the black community, how easily we could be set on a tailspin, how easily we could be emotionally manipulated from simply just not reading or believing everything that we see in a headline instead of taking the time to do our own research. Why do I say that? You guys, some of the posts that I've seen on social media is out of control. And I know people are going to hear this and want to justify the anger. No, some of you guys need to calm down, because again, this is just another example how easily we could be triggered. And also, I've heard some people say, well, this wouldn't happen to white boys. This wouldn't happen to white infants. It just goes to show how disconnected we are from reality, a lot of us. I'm going to show you just some clips from social media, because I just want you to see kind of how quickly a lie, how quickly inaccurate information can spread like cancer. Ignorance becomes malignant, especially within our community as it relates to race relations, that all you have to do is call someone racist and that's it, it's out of here. All right, it spreads. People are campaigning, protesting, and burning stuff down off of a lie, off of propaganda, off of disinformation. And the media is never held accountable. Are they going to walk it back? Of course not. The damage is already done. I couldn't believe half the stuff I was hearing after I just read. And again, this is from the man who has a child who was a victim, and this man is black. He said only 2 babies are black, which is probably his baby and another baby out of the 7.
Babies, like what on earth? So in the month of November, literally, I think about 3 to 4 babies who had unexplained injuries, like.
So this is the first one. Nurse in prison for purposely fracturing the bones of black infants. So already taking information. I don't know where she got information from, but she's taking it, and now here we go with the spread. All right. How is this not being spoken of more? I'm tired of these white women in America who think Africans are not paying attention. Here we go. You guys, this is how racism spreads. This is how hatred for a particular group spreads, from false and inaccurate information. It's dangerous.
As a black disabled person that was formerly a black NICU baby, this conversation about the nurse who is breaking the bones, or allegedly breaking the bones, of black NICU children is incredibly interesting to watch play out over social media. One of the things that's really triggering when you grow up with a disability, particularly if you are black, or even like just having a disability in general, but
so this is why it's important, right? You get to hear people's real thoughts, all right? Real thoughts in reference to this particular case. And it makes you wonder, are they gonna come back and clarify and say, hey, listen, we're wrong. Let me walk back what I said, because what I said was putting out additional false information. What this does, you guys, is it creates this, obviously it's not true, right? You're believing a lie. That lie starts to impact your thought process and your heart, even your spirit, and how you look at another person. Now you're sharing this lie with other people, and it's also doing the same thing. This process is very malignant, you guys. It's very malignant. And this is how hatred is born, formed, manifest, and then maintained. This is what it looks like, right? And I'm pointing these things out. I'm not justifying anybody's wrong behavior. I'm saying this is how deceptive messaging is spread and what it does to the people that are actually consuming it. Listen to what she's saying. It's very, very important that you get the specific terminology that she's using. And this is not a shot at her, but people who fall into this trap, right?
NICU babies, that white nurse was breaking arms of NICU babies. So not only do black women suffer at the hands of medical teams because we don't get taken seriously, no one listens to us. So now our babies, within hours, breaths, minutes, of coming out of our bodies that you guys are now trying to force women to have children get hurt, get bones broken, and it took several of it for you guys to even realize she was doing it on purpose. I wonder why. The first time it would have... How can I use this anger to get change? What can we do? What do I need to email? Who do I need to call? Because we said we were only writing for our own. It's time.
She said, we're only writing for our own. It's time. You guys, and this is my issue. You're not going to do anything, man. Let's just be real. Okay. A lot of us are not going to do anything. By next week, you're going to forget this happened and you're going to be back to your regular life, doing whatever you do. You're not going to put together anything that's going to solve a damn thing. Okay. I hate when people get to talking like they're about to start a new operation, a new hospital. You're not going to contribute. You're not going to do anything. Stop the cap. Okay. I'm tired of hearing it. Again, racist propaganda pushed by black people on black people. It's not true. Okay. And this is how quickly these things spread. Let's go back. Even the comments, if you go into the comment section, this just shows this is a lot of built up hatred. And in some cases, I tell people all the time, us as black people can be just as racist as the racist people we complain about. All right, we all know the history. We're talking about today, right now. The comment section, this broke my heart. Why do they hate us so much? Right? This is what people are talking about, you guys. In so many of these cases, did they intentionally suspect the mothers? This is so deep. This is out of control. I'm livid.
Please tell me y'all heard about that NICU nurse in Virginia that broke 7 different babies' bones, specifically 7 different black baby bones. It gets worse though. So the freaking hospital, this happened in 2023. The hospital suspended this woman with pay for an entire year. They suspended her with pay for an entire year and brought her back to work. And you know how she got caught. So she comes back this November, December, she comes back.
So, and let me say this. She has it 100% wrong. 7 different black babies, bones broken by a NICU nurse. That's not true. That's not true. And look how passionate she's like. I mean, I get it. I get it. But I can go through all these videos just to show you how dangerous misinformation is, disinformation. And when we sit there and eat it up, the question is, once they find out it's true, are they going to come back? Are they going to come back and make another video saying, hey, listen, I pushed out some inaccurate information. Let me correct myself. Right? This is an attack against black babies. It's just not. When information is put out improperly, sometimes intentionally, people do it because there's a lot of money in division. Racism is a multi-billion-dollar industry. It's so profitable, right? The people creating the division, to be honest, a lot of them probably aren't racist. It's just a lot of money in it. There's a lot of money in it. So, anyways, this video is already long as it is. What are your thoughts on that? How do you feel? How do you feel? I want to know your thoughts. Let me get your honest opinion. Don't tell me about what happened 200, 300 years ago. Don't tell me what happened 100 years ago. We're talking about today in 2025. Right? Let's talk about today, 2025. A lot of people are going to bring up a lot of things that are irrelevant. We're talking about this case, what this woman did right now. Okay? There's a difference. Anyways, let me know your thoughts, you guys. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And with that, good night. God bless.